Hey guys, it's Cody Bellinger. I'm in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. My character's name is Ada. They got me in a motion capture suit, and I've been doing a bunch of swinging with bats and axes. Like a warrior's axe cutting through a shield wall.
I would like to see this rock hit you speak of.
I could see myself on the projector live. I felt like I was the actual character. On the wall, there was a bunch of different kind of weapons that I could have used or did use. It felt natural to me because it was me swinging a bat in a video game, and I do that all the time in real life. We go to war on the baseball field, you know, try to go out there and compete and win. And as a Viking, you're gonna go out there with all your men and go and try to win and be on top. The name's Odo Sluggerson. I usually try to dodge dames like yourself, but you seem friendly. Got my face scanned for the game to make it realistic to look like me, and then I did a voiceover for my character.
Woo-wee! Bingo.
It was cool acting it out, and I'm excited to see how it turns out to be in the game. And now I get to go play the game, so I'm really excited about that. I want to go get into random fights. It's gonna be interesting. It's 2-on-1. Oh my God, they got no chance. What are the other weapons I can use? I like that move. Oh, and this dude does not die. Got him. That's sick. I think it's a cool game. I'm excited to see how it all will come together at the end. There I am.
My name is Julien Laferrière, and I'm the producer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time period of Vikings is really, really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. And so they had really human motivations. So for us to have this opportunity to tell kind of the real story about Vikings and kind of separate ourselves from the myths and the folklore is really something that drove us to make this game. The team went to Norway and England to take the same roads that the Vikings did, to really experience what it meant to be a Viking at that time. And then leaving Norway, which is barren but majestic, and just coming by boat in England and see those rolling green hills full of sheep, full of life, is just this moment that most likely the Vikings felt as well. You need to see this land of opportunity. And this is exactly the feeling we want players to experience in this game. It is a personal adventure, it is the story of Eivor, a Viking chieftain. Eivor is either a male or a female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure, no resources available. Obviously, in England, it's full of Anglo-Saxons and other people, and they don't really want you there. So you will have to fight your way there to kind of build your own settlement and see your clan prosper. Vikings were brutal warriors.
Shields!
And the fact that they were mastering a lot of weapons coming from the medieval times really inspired us to kind of revamp the fight system, to leverage the brutality and the intensity of Viking combat. Vikings were not only fighting face-to-face, they were masters of stealth and deception when needed. They used basically any sort of tactics they could use to win the battle. So we want to portray the full range of combat that you can imagine coming from the Vikings.
Hello, I'm Darby McDevitt, narrative director of Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and this is an introduction to Norse mythology. Assassin's Creed Valhalla takes place in an era that marks the gradual transition from the pagan religions of old Europe to modern Christianity. In England, where most of our story is set, the Christian faith has recently gained a firm foothold, but there are still many pagan religions flourishing. Most notable of these is the pantheon of gods worshipped by the Norse people who lived in the regions we now call Norway, Sweden, and Denmark. This eclectic collection of gods includes such figures as Odin, the All-Father and King of all gods, Freya, goddess of love and battle, and Loki, the obstinate trickster. For all the Norse characters in our story, including our protagonist Eivor, these gods and the stories about them constitute a living religion. They offer comfort and wisdom to the men and women who take them seriously. But these were not gods who offered revelation or promised salvation. Similar to the Greco-Roman gods, the Norse gods were not paragons of virtue, nor were they beings to which anyone should aspire, for they were as changeable as the seasons and as unpredictable as the weather. In the Norse conception of reality, the world was broken up into 9 realms, with Asgard being the home of the most important gods. Accessed by a bridge of light known as the Bifrost, Asgard was the site of Odin's Hall of Slain Champions, called Valhalla or Valhalla. This was the final resting place of all warriors who died bravely in battle, weapon in hand, and whose reward it was to remain at Odin's side, drinking and warring until the coming of Ragnarok, the battle at the end of time. As one might expect from a people who valued courage and honor, the Norse approached their gods somewhat bluntly. They did not pray to them asking for redemption, they bargained with them, making sacrifices for a stroke of good fortune. Where virtue and sin and redemption are hallmarks of the Christian faith, for the Norse sensibility, ideas like honor and reputation held much greater sway. But this does not mean that the Norse religion lacked notions of goodness or ethics. Through sources like the Poetic Edda, we can find, amid tales of debauchery, deceit, and cruelty, passages of great beauty and common sense. In a poem called the Havamal, ostensibly written by Odin himself, we find this verse: "The unwise man lies awake all night, pondering everything over and over, and when morning comes, his mind is weary, and his burdens have not yet lifted." Wise words from the All-Father, so do as he says and stop your worrying. Get a good night's sleep and rise refreshed, for the gates to Valhalla will soon be open.